APEC country representatives tour APEC Haus. School fee issues in Parliament.
They be given time to pay up some of the fees.
And Madang MP speaks after a rough day in the House.
This is the National MTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Tuesday's news. Representatives of some of the 21 countries who will be attending the Leaders Summit in November were given a tour of APEC Haus this afternoon. The walkthrough, conducted by APEC Chief Executive Officer Chris Hawkins, was aimed at giving these countries an insight on the progress of construction of APEC Haus.
With 9 more months before PNG hosts the APEC Summit, our national leaders are put under pressure to make sure PNG successfully hosts the leaders' meeting. This afternoon, representatives from embassies and high commissions whose offices are based in Port Moresby were given a 30-minute walkthrough.
Firstly, APEC House is ahead of schedule and it's looking really good. For me, my first APEC was as a representative for Papua New Guinea 20 years ago, and to see some of the best APEC venues and some of the not so good, this is right up there with any of the best APEC venues that I've ever worked on, been a part of. It has full security facilities, it has very functional workspaces for our leaders to be able to work, and it will have all the right technology that's needed.
The visit comes 7 months after the start of construction. This is the second visit since Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and other government officials visited in January. APEC CEO Chris Hawkins announced that the construction is ahead of schedule and remains confident it will be completed come August. The APEC House, once completed, will be an iconic tourism attraction in Papua New Guinea. It is built at a cost of 120 million kina. It will house the main APEC summit, including discussions with APEC Business Advisory Council. After serving its purpose as the APEC House, it will be handed over to the Tourism Promotion Authority and will be turned into a museum.
This will be a place where families can come to when they come to Ella Beach and rotate artefacts in and out and see some of the amazing treasures in the history and culture of the nation at somewhere that it's very easy to get to, being here at where it is.
Thekla Gunga, National MTV News.
Hela Governor Philip Undialu says the 2018 provincial budget can be achieved if all leaders and people work together. Governor Undialu says roads, education, airport and law and order are the priority areas. The governor and the 3 open MPs of Hela province presented the provincial budget to Treasurer Charles Abel this afternoon in Port Moresby.
The Hela Provincial Assembly passed a budget of 325 million in Tari recently. This afternoon, Governor Philip Undialu presented the budget to the Treasurer. Governor Undialu says the budget is a collective decision to improve current state of services in the province.
It's a very consultative budget been framed by public servants and the leaders of Hela province.
With the province stricken by continuous law and order issues, policing will receive a significant portion in funding allocation. Governor Undialu says it has been a challenge to decrease lawlessness. Other areas receiving big cuts in the 2018 budget include health, upgrade of Tari Airport and education.
Law and order remains a big challenge for the province, and with the assistance of development partners and the national government, and with the allocation of a significant portion of the money, I know we can address the law and order. So that remains a challenge, but it's our second priority for the province.
Treasurer and Deputy Prime Minister Charles Abel says a united Hela will see development goals being achieved. Minister Abel says the budget will be screened before final approval for release of funds.
I can commit to you that I will, as long as there's no major technicalities, it'll be signed off and I'll return it back to you so that you can get on with the important business of running the province up there.
Provincial Administrator William Bando and the 3 open MPs were also present to witness the occasion.
I don't want to give false hope to the people that everything will happen overnight, but at least we can get something done. So this is the first budget. So,
Jack Lapave Jr., National MTV News.
And New Guinea is seeing more women succeeding in senior managerial positions. Human Resource General Manager Bonai Logona says it is not based on addressing gender issues, but on merit. Mr. Logona was speaking at the occasion to highlight the company's Emerging Leaders Program.
New Guinea currently has 52 female managers, a record never achieved by any other airline company in the country. The Human Resource Manager says it is encouraging to see women folk breaking barriers in the industry. Mr. Logona says the company's Emerging Leaders Program is a positive sign for its employees.
The major areas that they look into is leadership. And the leadership, particularly the style of leadership that involves influencing and motivating your people rather than using compliance, by force,
The program had its first 25 staff members participate in 2017. Screening for the second batch is underway. New Guinea staff say it is not a challenge with male colleagues, but to create and shape career pathways.
I see myself equal with my male counterparts, and we have a good working relationship, and that's based on respect for the respective offices that we hold.
With the company expanding its workforce, the in-house program empowers women to be vested with negotiating skills and be influential to make better decisions.
The Emerging Leaders Program is bringing us all onto the same platform, where there is one rule for all. There is no favoritism, everything is all equal, and we strive to achieve all that together.
Executive Manager for IT Wendy Enau says the program is beneficial.
And that program really helped me to realize my strengths and weaknesses as a person and as a professional. And that helped me to be a better manager here at HR.
The national flag carrier has women managing its ports in Wewak, Popondetta, Oskins and Kevieng. Jack Lapave Jr., National MTV News.
Port Moresby Police have explained their position involving National Statistician Rocco Koloma. NCD Superintendent Operations Michael Tilai said officers had gone to the NSO office to follow up on Koloma's response to allegations against him and not to arrest him.
This incident involves allegations of misappropriations worth over 250 million kina. But police did not specify details of these allegations. However, there is a registered complaint against Koloma at the Boroko police station.
NSO case with the name human being, as far as our command is concerned, we only have correspondence and documents coming to office. Yes, there were attempts to bring him into the office for questioning due to some technicalities, some issues surrounding the process of arrest. So we haven't actually gone deep into dealing with the matter, but yes, the issues on foot, it will be further deliberated.
NCD Superintendent for Operations Michael Tilai says there were two different police units that went to NSO office last Thursday. Tilai explains that police did not go to arrest Koloma, but confirmed that Koloma did refuse to hand himself over to police for questioning.
The guy was dealing with because we have two problems here. One is the process, the other one is the administration. The part of the administration of the process, they come together. The commissioner is appointed, one of the constables, one of the NCOs, CID Boroko, to deal with any NSO cases. Why he locked himself up, maybe one of the factors is there was another policeman from here, CID person was up there, trying to get him for arrest, bring him down to the police station because of a document that was served on him regarding the same allegation. Someone's back. That's why he went following up.
Meanwhile, former APEC MP Robert Ganim was released on police bail on 3 counts of misappropriation, official corruption and abuse of office. Criminal investigation officers are treating both methods as serious. Thekla Gunga, National MTV News.
Papua New Guinea has officially assumed the role of chair of the Melanesian Spearhead Group. At 5 p.m. this afternoon, the Solomon Islands Prime Minister Rick Nelson handed over the chairmanship to PNG Prime Minister Peter O'Neill. The handover was signified with a traditional ceremony here in Port Moresby. 2018 marks the 21st year of the meeting of the Melanesian Spearhead Group. Here with National MTV News, we'll have more of the day's top stories after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Members of Parliament today raised the issue of university fees again. Member for Sinasina Yongumul, Kerangakua, asked if tertiary institutions could extend their registration periods to accommodate parents who are struggling to pay school fees, while Member for Wabeg, Dr. Lino Tom, also questioned the Prime Minister on the university fee structure.
University fee structures was the first question asked in Parliament when Parliament resumed at 11 a.m. this morning.
A lot of students will be paying up to 14,000 kina. And for a small security guard who has a child in Parliament and in university, he can't actually pay his fees.
The question was directed to the Prime Minister. He responded saying he had met with the Vice-Chancellors of the universities regarding the fee structures.
We given instructions to the Minister for Higher Education and the Secretary for Higher Education to immediately inform the universities that all students should be enrolled and that they be given time to pay up some of the fees that are to be paid for this year.
The Prime Minister said he would be taking advertisements in the dailies to clarify that no student should be excluded due to school fee payments.
We'll take up a full paid advertisement this week to give specific instructions to all government institutions that they must enroll all the children, students who are going to be enrolled this year, and allow them time to pay the school fees over an extended period of time.
Member for Sinasina Yongumul, Kerangakua, asked the Minister for Higher Education to request that universities extend registration to allow students from low-income families to enroll.
50% by last Friday. All NUPLA students all exclude him now. By the 16th of this month, or by excluding all continuing students, Usatino by at least 50%.
Minister for Higher Education, Pila Niningi, responded saying he would speak to the universities.
So far they have not shown us. So we have attended to this. So it is a problem, but we are attending. Thank you.
He also touched on the drop of education quality from the universities.
Universities run down. Quality is dropped. You all have to agree that our standard in my time, and some of us here got a degree. That degree is equivalent to Australian degree, any other institutions. Now we are not.
Adelaide Xerox Kari, National MTV News.
Still in Parliament, Gulf Governor Chris Haiveta sought clarification on provincial road projects. He questioned Works Minister Michael Nally on when the projects would commence and also those that are yet to be completed in Gulf Province.
The questions raised by the Governor for Gulf Province, Chris Haiveta, were based on the road situation from Southern Highlands to Kikori in the Gulf Province. He wanted to know when the road will be completed and if any funds are available.
Wanamap road by Kisimlo, Pinisim Disla, 12 kilometers, where it will make it possible for that alternative to exist. Mr. Speaker, I'm number one asking.
In response, the Works Minister, Michael Nally, admitted that the contract has already been awarded.
Contract go along CPEC, but Mr. Speaker, Gobe Field Engineering, what them CPEC go court. Now this la road now me stable same yet until this la court case is cleared. Work by start now this la Southern Islands Gulf Highway by Inablo by OP.
Governor Haiveta also asked about the road work from Laloki to Hisiu and Epo to Kerama.
You go get along, I think, close to the Hisiu, Olodoa plantation. So, Ms. Have last government, you play working commitment too, only working commitment.
Minister Nali stated that contracts have been awarded.
Department of Works working scoping stop and we got possibility or some this road 2 will by Command need law same funding law World Bank.
Lilian Sopera-Kinea, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. We'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. Papua New Guinea Laboratory Accreditation Scheme, PNG-LAS, has regained recognition from the international community on laboratory accreditation. PNG-LAS is a national structure that delivers accreditation certificates to testing laboratories. With its international accreditation, results from testing done in PNG-LAS compliant labs in the country are now on par with international standards. This development was made possible following a week-long training for its lead assessors, facilitated by the European Union's Trade-Related Assistance Program. The training involved strengthening the National Institute of Standards and Industrial Technology, NISIT's capabilities in handling issues relating to testing, certification and inspection. In total, 8 lab assessors updated their skills and knowledge, which was a key requirement in enabling PNG-LAS certification to be recognized in the Asia-Pacific region as well as abroad. A landowner association, together with the PNG Forest Authority, have officially signed a memorandum of agreement regarding 35,000 hectares of customary land. The Tikana Tree Plantation Association in New Ireland want their land to be developed for commercial purposes. President Henry Penny says this project took almost 31 years to become reality.
A project that took almost 31 years in the making has finally become reality for the Tikana Tree Plantation Landowners Association, says President Henry Penny. With the signing of the Memorandum of Agreement between PNG Forest Authority and Tikana Tree Plantation Landowners Association Incorporated, PNG-FA now has permission to undertake plantation establishment, development, and maintenance activities within the project land.
In executing a sales and purchase agreement, which would be the commercial part of developing the project, and that's where an investor will come in to develop the project. So this MOA is strictly between the landowners and PNG-FA insofar as managing their forest resources and land.
President Penny, on behalf of the landowners, stated that signing any memorandum with PNG-FA was a positive move.
It hasn't been smooth sailing, but nevertheless we are now ready to enter into a commercial aspect of the project, which is what this whole thing was about in the first place. This is a milestone program for the people of Nablus and also the people of Tikana. Basically because it gives us an option and an opening to enter into and participate in the cash economy of the country. And so therefore, this being a 31-year-old program, we are now coming to the final stage, which is going to be the harvesting of the plantation and the development of new areas.
National Forest Board Chairman David Dotaona said PNG must not let foreigners exploit the country's resources.
And that's exactly what a plantation is, I think. We don't have to keep on chopping our logs until our resource runs out. Before it's late, I think you people from KVN have now recognized that. Build that plantation, fence the trees, and then it'll keep on renewing itself for generations to come.
Lilian Sopera-Kinea, National MTV News.
Testing of seafloor production tools for the Solwara-1 project has been completed. Last week, Nautilus Minerals, the operator of the Solwara-1 project, presented a project update to Mining Minister Johnson Tuke. Among others was an update on the project's seafloor production tools, which had been undergoing testing at the Motokea Wharf outside Port Moresby. In a media statement, the company just announced that trials for these production tools have been completed, with the tools now being prepared to be shipped to China, where the project's main production vessel is being constructed. According to Nautilus CEO Mike Johnston, the objective of the trials was to ensure that all 3 machines met the requirements of their respective design specifications in submerged conditions. He says initial results indicate that they do. The results, according to Mr. Johnston, will continue to be analysed, with Nautilus aiming to complete a full report on the submerged trials by the end of Q1 this year. Another health worker who has been a victim of the National Housing Corporation evictions is fighting to regain possession of her home. This is the first time she's spoken to the media about her case, which has gone on for the past 4 years. Gimoy Ganu and her family were evicted from the NHC property she was renting in 2015 because of alleged arrears and also because the property was sold.
Gimoy Ganu is a health worker at the Engal Memorial General Hospital. She was evicted from the NHC property she was renting back in 2015 and is currently living at a friend's house. She was told she had arrears to pay.
This is my status report from Mosby. House is still underneath National Housing Corporation. Lot 3, Section 36. I have no arrears.
She moved into this unit in Eriku's Cross Street in January 1995. After living there for a while, she expressed her interest to purchase the unit, but was told the units were not for sale.
And then 1998, we started writing a letter of interest, but there was no response from Housing Commission.
In 2015, her family was given an eviction notice. She was away for studies at the time.
These officers who came in to destroy the place, they are not officers from NHC. They are outsiders.
She was also told the property was bought off the NHC by a person claiming he was a tenant there since 2002. Mrs. Gano and her family were still tenants there during the stated year.
Well, my children grew up there, they got married. I have grandchildren in that house.
Mrs. Gano is one of several health workers who have been victims of NHC evictions. Last year, Zoabe Tining, Buffy Gordon and Dixon Tongut's family, the Benters, were all evicted from their homes. They're all health workers. Zoabe Tining and Buffy Gordon managed to obtain stay orders from the lay courts to move back to their homes. However, Mrs. Gano and the Benters on Cormorant Street are fighting to regain possession of their homes in court.
The current status is that we are appealing to National Court again.
Lucy Kopana, National MTV News, Lay.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill recently called out member for Madang, Brian Kramer, to behave in the manner expected by the people of Madang and not engage in illegal behavior. In an exclusive interview with MTV, Brian Kramer shared his views on recent Parliament proceedings and his priorities as Member of Parliament.
The Office of the Prime Minister released a press statement yesterday in regards to the ongoing commentary by Brian Kramer, calling his comments as slanderous, disrespectful and actionable in court. The press statement also states about his performance as an MP, stating that in his 6 months in office, he has nothing to show. Nothing has been delivered and no concrete plans have been made for the coming years. Brian Kramer had this to say.
Members of Parliament hold public office. We're paid by public money, use vehicles owned by the public, the privileges paid by taxpayers. So we're accountable to the people. We want to occupy the office, therefore we're subject to public scrutiny. You cannot, in relation to, we have a Prime Minister here saying that I'm very frustrated. I mean, you look at the language, we have an Office of the Prime Minister, and the language that he's used in that office. So obviously he is very frustrated by just reading the language in response to my article.
The Madang district has been recently home to law and order issues. With frequent cases of robbery, armed robbery and deaths, MTV asked the MP on the current issues faced by his district and his action plans for them.
I created a blog called Kramer Report that has some 50,000 followers. And then I've created also a page that says a member of Madang. So in my capacity as a member of Madang, I will speak on the issues to do with Madang. This issue is a national issue. So I will always use a multiple amount of social media platforms in terms of educating the public. And this is why we set a record in Madang in terms of how many votes I was able to secure over a very contentious seat. Yes. So while most people on the ground will want to see a road and say development, that's not development. So we are looking to reshape how people think, to create more citizen participations. My position was clear. There would be no APEC meeting in Madang. whether it's pinned to me directly because of my being a strong voice in the opposition, that the only people in the right authority can answer that.
Adelaide Siraks Kari, National, MTV News.
And after question time in Parliament, Minister for Communication and Energy, Sam Basil, rose to present a personal explanation and said a blog post by Madang MP Brian Kramer in relation to his move to government was defamatory and wanted the member for Madang to withdraw his comments. This comes after the Prime Minister released a statement yesterday voicing his concern over Kramer's social media posts. While trying to rise for a point of order, members of the government yelled at the member for Madang, with one minister making out to look like he was trying to cross the floor while screaming that Kramer should, quote, mind his own business, unquote. Here with National MTV News, we go for a break. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The PNG Olympic Committee, SP Brewery and other sponsors today launched the SP Sports Awards nominations. President of PNG Olympic Committee, Sir John Dawarninkura, says with the country witnessing some of the biggest sporting events taking place, both on home soil and abroad, a lot of nominations are expected to honor those events.
Nominations are expected to flood in from around the country for the 2018 SP Sports Awards following the outstanding performances of many athletes in 2017. A host of PNG athletes who competed at home and abroad are likely to be nominated at this year's SP Sports Awards, which could make selections difficult. President of the PNG Olympic Committee, Sir John Dawarninkura, also reminded the general public to nominate early.
Not forgetting that we also have our national recognition of national achievements in PNG. So it's both national and international. So we're certainly looking forward to a lot of nominations.
He highlighted the performances of sporting teams who excelled in 2017, such as the PNG Mosquitoes, who won the International AFL Cup title in Melbourne, Australia, the SPPNG Hunters winning the Queensland Intrust Super Cup, and he also highlighted the performances of individual athletes.
One category that's maybe because of lack of nominations in the past was the Ambassador of the Year, Sports Ambassador of the Year. Maybe that's one that we can definitely look at again.
We had a fantastic year last year in sport in Papua New Guinea. A number of major events have occurred. So I believe that, as always, the quality of the nominations will increase. There can only be one winner, of course, in each of the awards, but just to be nominated for this very prestigious award is in itself a major achievement.
The 26th SP Sports Awards will cover 11 different categories, from athletes to officials, teams, media and photography, and the People's Choice Award. Nominations will close on Friday, 16th March. The 26th SP Sports Awards will be held on May 26th, following the Commonwealth Games, and preparations for the event have already started. Godwin Eki, National, MTV Sports.
Cricket PNG and Bank South Pacific officially launched the global award-winning Junior Cricket Development Program, BSP School Cricket, for this year at Ward Street Primary School in the nation's capital today. Going from strength to strength, the program now has 10 centres with over 200 schools involved and a participation of over 188,000 school children.
Since its inception in 2013, the program has not only reached over 100,000 school children, but it has produced some of PNG's elite cricketers who are now in the national teams. And now with Highlands provinces like Jiwaka, Western Highlands and Eastern Highlands coming on board, the program aims to maintain its reach of over 150,000 school children nationwide. And present at the launch today were regional cricket managers from other centres who had their own stories to tell. MTV Sports spoke to Mumbai's regional cricket manager Simon Daywilly, who said the recent selection in the likes of Mumbai's Hinamutawa Philip to the national women's team has boosted female participation.
The program reached, for 2017 last year, we've reached 16 schools. A total of about 13,000 students participated in the BSP school cricket program. Reach out to more schools and to also get other zones, districts involved. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that for 2018.
Meanwhile, West New Britain has seen the potential for cricket, hence there is already work in place to set up an association. At the moment, the BSP school cricket program has been successful in reaching the outskirts of West New Britain, especially Gloucester and Biala, with over 50 schools on board. And the recent participation of at least 5 West New Britain cricketers at the 7th BSP PNG Games last year is a testament of the program's success in the province.
So far, we started playing cricket in 2009. We have we play like indoor cricket, but during the PNG Games we have set up a new pitch. Probably we'll start our association in March. I'm trying my best to make sure to bring one of my products into the national team.
The program has won numerous ICC Global Development Awards in recent years, including the Best Overall Development Program and the Best Junior Participation Initiative, and is continuing to breed national representatives. And current Hebo PNG Barmandi players Nosiana Pokana, Hiri, Kipling Doriga, Dogodobao and Damien Ravu, as well as PNG Lower players Brenda Tau and Vicky Ara, are all products of the program. And the make of the Under-19 Garamuts team, who competed last month at the ICC Under-19 World Cup in New Zealand, all came from the school cricket program selections. Dinero Striker, National MTV Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. We'll have more shortly. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Our lead-up competition to the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Australia, the Australian National Championships, will see PNG's top 3 offshore swimmers take part in the event as part of their preparations. From the 5 swimmers in total, these 3 athletes, Sam Seggers, Ryan Maskelyne and Ashley Sito, will be joined by 2 PNG-based swimmers. But all 5 swimmers will be in Port Moresby from March the 16th to the 18th for the Theodist PNG National Championships.
On January 3 of PNG's top 5 swimmers, endorsed by PNG Olympic Committee, travelled to Melbourne for the Victorian State Swimming Championships. The annual event, held from the 12th to the 14th, saw some of Australia's best swimmers compete in preparations for the Commonwealth Games trials set to take place at the end of this month. PNG swimmers, who swam extremely well in tough Melbourne conditions, were led by an experienced Ashley Sito, who missed out on the B final of the 50-metre breaststroke and 50-metre freestyle, who missed out, while Josh Tarare produced 2 personal best in his 100-metre freestyle and 50-metre butterfly. The Australian National Championships will see Ashley Sito, Sam Seggers and Ryan Maskelyne compete. All training in their respective cities. PNG-based swimmers Josh Tarare and Leonard Kalate currently train in Lae, while Ashley Sito, Sam Seggers and Ryan Maskelyne train on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane. All 5 swimmers are expected to make an appearance next month to compete in the Theodist National Swimming Championships on March 16th to the 18th. Swimming is one of the 10 sports also represented at this year's Commonwealth Games on Gold Coast, Australia. The Commonwealth Games will take place from the 4th to the 15th of April. Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
To Rugby League prominent businessman Emmanuel Toll has been appointed the new Mendy League Administrator after the entire Rugby League administration was suspended. The administration under President Barclay Tenza was suspended today for 12 months. Tenza, since taking up the presidency in 2015, did not enhance the progress of his administration and the local competition, which brought the organization to a standstill. To the Winter Olympics now, and day 7 has been brutal on Australia's athletes, with tears and blood flowing on the slopes of Pyeongchang. A spectacular faceplant leaves snowboarder Emily Arthur wounded, while fellow Aussie Scotty James is ready for battle in the huff and puff.
With his trusty red boxing gloves, Scotty James landed the first blow.
Rotation for days.
And he sparred with the American icon Shaun White over 2 qualifying rounds. The 2-time gold medalist raised the bar. our world champ replied with a spectacular second run.
96.75, we've got a new leader and his name is Scotty James.
But the greatest of all time has made his statement.
And White goes into the lead.
Still, gold is tantalisingly close for the 23-year-old Aussie at his third games. Now that Scotty's qualified, he'll have just 24 hours to wait before his final showdown with Shaun White, one of the most highly anticipated battles between two athletes of these games.
Just excited to get out there tomorrow and do what I came here to do.
Emily Arthur stared down the half-pipe. Her family watched nervously as the Sydney 18-year-old safely negotiated the first run of her first Olympic final.
Team Australia happy about that.
But on the final move of her last run, Emily fell hard.
Oh, and that's where it came unstuck.
Bloodied and dazed, they were frightening moments for Emily's parents.
I'm still happy. Fell on my face and I think I've hit my head a little bit, but I'm all good, I'm alive. I'm talking to the doctors, they said I might be concussed, which kind of sucks, but it'll be fine.
She leaves with an 11th place and a taste for more, chasing the mind-blowing level set by American gold medalist Chloe Kim.
If you are a parent, you will understand the pride of seeing your children succeed. But can you imagine having a child competing in the Olympics? The Brandt family have two girls, both ice hockey players, and they are both in Pyeongchang. And here is the twist. Hannah is playing for the American team, while sister Marissa, who is adopted, is playing for the unified Korean team. Their mum and dad are in Pyeongchang too, and they've been telling the story all about their family fairy tale.
Hannah is playing for the American team, while Marissa, who was adopted, has been playing for the unified Korea team. Their mum and dad, Greg and Robin, are in Pyeongchang too, and they've been telling our Amanda Davis all about their fairy tale games.
Coming into this Olympics, how much of a concept did you have about what you, as a family, were coming into?
Clearly we didn't know what we were coming into.
Yeah, pretty much zero. We had a little bit of an idea because there's been a bit of media interest, or quite a bit actually, at home, and then we figured it would probably continue when we got here. But really, it's for the Korean people, it's a huge story. It's just, I mean, that has been overwhelming. We're really surprised at that.
And how much of that has Marissa realized?
Well, I think, you know, she is going to be hard to live with when she gets back home because she's like a rock star here. I mean, she's been like a little bit of a celebrity in Korea, and people are like wanting to have her autographs, and when the cameras come around, they want to get her and get her in the pictures, and she's very popular in Korea.
So what is success for the Korean team at this tournament?
Well, it's already happened. I think it's already happened. I think just being on the ice was a huge step to have a team at the Olympics, be competitive, and then all the social aspects of being able to merge two teams together and be successful at it. Successful in as much as just being a competitive team, and they're very good, actually.
What were your feelings as the girls came out onto the ice at that first Korean game?
That was very emotional, and I think because of the setting, you know, because of all the cheerleaders on the side, and you know, it was just a really moving piece, and I felt like, oh my gosh, this is like so special, and this could be a part of, well, it is a part of history, and we're here. And
I think together we've been to a lot of hockey games, and I've never felt like that
really
before.
I never have.
It was amazing.
As a family, had you all been here to Korea, to where Marissa was from before?
No. So this is our first time for our entire family to be here.
Marissa's been here now for off and on 2 years, so she's going to show us around after her games are done.
And you're going to go back to where she's from?
Well, we're going to try and see what we can, yeah.
Well, if we can get on any trains, I'm not sure.
But what's your overriding emotion? I mean, there must be a million emotions at the idea of that.
Well, just to have her be so embracing of her culture and heritage is just so gratifying, because as she grew up, she
wasn't interested.
Desperately just trying to fit in, and she didn't want anything to do. We would take her to Korean culture camp or Korean school every Saturday morning, and she and Hannah went together, and Hannah loved it. And Marissa's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go because I just want to be like, you know, mom and dad and Hannah. I just want to fit in. She didn't want to accentuate her differences. And then, so eventually they quit going. And once this call came and she came to Korea, it's been a life-changing thing for her to see where she's from. And she's so proud now of her background. It's really nice to see.
And that story wraps up Trukai Sports for this evening. Just a reminder, you can catch the Winter Olympic highlights each night at 9 p.m. as well as 1 p.m. during the weekdays and on the weekends at 4:30 p.m. Stay tuned. We'll have the weather details for the next 24 hours after these messages.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
A look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Rain and showers all throughout the region. That's in Port Moresby, Daru, Kerma, Alotau and Popondetta. To the Momasa region, rain and showers expected in Lae and Wau. The same as well for Madang, Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, thundery showers expected in Lorengau and Kavieng. Showers expected in Kokopo, Rabaul, Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, all these major centers can expect rain with morning fog.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
And before we go, a recap of our top stories this evening. APEC country representatives take a tour of APEC Haus. Madang MP speaks about a rough day in Parliament, and the nominations are now open for the SP Sports Awards. And that has been the news, sport and weather for today. On behalf of the MTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.